We are brave, we are free, nothing's stopping you and me. We are the wild ones, we are the fearless. Now's our time to feel alive. We're chasing that golden sky, sky. 'Cause we are young and nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing can hold us back. We can have our fun underneath the sun.
Unmute me.
Underneath the sun. Underneath the we just do what we dare, living life without a care. We're gonna make a mark and paint this town red. Take a dive into the blue, see the world, make a move, a move. 'Cause we are young and nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing can hold us back. We can have our fun underneath the sun. Underneath the sun. Underneath the
Good evening and welcome to the Planning and Housing Commission. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Just some housekeeping. Chair Sicklin and Commissioner Woody are unable to join us tonight. Ms. Meza and I are here in person, and Vice Chair Sherman is joining us via Zoom. which will provide us the quorum. And for logistics purposes only, I'm chairing the meeting tonight. So with your approval, Ms. Sherman, we'd like to get started.
Approved.
Thank you. All right, if you'll join me, Ms. Meza will join us to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and go on to communications from the public. Persons wishing to address the Planning and Housing Commission are requested to state their name for the record. This portion of the agenda is intended for public comment. State law prohibits the Planning and Housing Commission from discussing or taking action on items not listed on the agenda. The Planning and Housing Commission will appreciate your cooperation in keeping your comments brief. Ms. Capilla, did we receive any speaker cards or written comments from the public for any items on the agenda?
No, Commissioner Alexander, we did not receive any speaker cards nor written comments.
Thank you. All right, we move on to meeting minutes from February 21st. We're looking for approval. Did we receive any speaker cards or written comments from the public regarding this meeting on February 21st?
No, Commissioner, we did not.
All right, do we have a motion for approval for the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, Ms. Meza with the approval. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Sherman. That has been seconded. Please vote.
Vice Chair Sherman, how do you wish to vote?
I abstain.
So noted.
Okay, so with an abstention, this is really just a formality, and really all we're documenting is the fact that the minutes have been recorded and received. So, Vice Chair Sherman, would you like to change your vote or keep it as is?
Yeah, I'll change it to yes.
Thank you, Ms. Coletta. All right, and with that,
The change will be noted. Thank you.
thank you. That'll pass 3-0. All right, there are no consent items. Public hearings. Public hearings are items that have been publicly advertised for review and consideration by the Planning and Housing Commission. The first public hearing item is for SPA 2022-007, a specific plan amendment application to amend the Northeast Corona Specific Plan, SP 81-2, Section 4.5.20, to allow pet boarding and daycare uses in the Support Commercial Freeway, SCF District, with approval of a major condition use permit and revised Section 4.5.11 to allow the use of alternative fencing materials for commercial developments within the Support Commercial SC and Support Commercial Freeway SCF districts. Applicant being MLJ Resources, LLC, on behalf of Smart Park Luxury Suites and Pet Daycare. This item is related to the next item on the agenda, CUP 2022-006, which is a request to approve a pet boarding and daycare facility located at 284 DuPont Street. For the benefit of time and clarity, staff will provide a presentation that covers both the proposed specific plan amendment and the proposed conditional use permit. I would ask the commission to ask questions regarding the CUP and take public comment for the CUP after a recommendation of the proposed specific plan amendment is determined. And before we get started, I just wanted to announce that Attending in person is John Ramirez, the MLI Resources LLC, which is the applicant's agent. Derek Troya with Tynan Group, which is the applicant's representative. Attending remotely is David C. of C's Development Advisors, the applicant agent. Jack Venimiglia, which is the property owner. And Medina Azamova, who is with Nadell Architecture. So thank you. And Ms. Choi, the associate planner, will present this item. Ms. Choi?
Thank you, Chair. The specific plan amendment item SPA 2022-0007 and conditional use permit CUP 2022-0006 is presented, requested by Smart Park Luxury Suites and Pet Daycare. The intention of the specific plan amendment is to allow the proposed pet daycare and overnight boarding facility to operate within the specific, the Northeast Corona specific plan, which is SP 81-2. As noted in the staff report, that the applicant is requesting to amend section 4.5.20, which specifically will allow this type of use through a review of a major conditional use permit application. And additionally, the applicant is also requesting to change section 4.5.11 to allow alternative fencing material in addition to what typically our municipal code would allow, and that means raw iron material and decorative block wall. In this case, the alternative fencing material will be allowed in the support commercial and support commercial freeway districts within the Northeast Corona specific plan. Provided within the staff report is a map of the Northeast Corona specific plans, the portion of the specific plans that pertains to the support commercial freeway district, which contains 3 parcels adjacent to the interstate freeway. And additionally, there are areas surrounding the freeway area that are part of the support commercial district. And shown on your screen is providing a understanding of the surrounding area and the adjacent uses being industrial uses and limited commercial and industrial uses. Note that the nearest residential uses are actually quite a distance away. The requested amendments are consistent with the intent of the support commercial and the support commercial freeway district, which are to provide a freeway frontage for heavy retail and commercial-based services within the city that allow residents to utilize these services without having to travel to nearby cities. In connection with the specific plan amendment, the applicant has also submitted a conditional use permit request for the specific pet boarding and daycare facility. Additionally, this daycare facility also proposes to use a vinyl fencing material for the outdoor play area. The project site is, again, within the support commercial freeway district, and this is a location that can be accessed from both DuPont Street and Taylor Street. The site has a shared parking capacity of 719 parking stalls. However, in front of this particular building, 284 DuPont Street, there are 234 parking spaces available for this particular building, although all 3 buildings are within the same commercial development. The proposed site consists of roughly 19,538 square feet of indoor space and 2,648 square feet of outdoor play area. Again, on the screen, number 1 is showing the site access. Visitor typically would access the site, this particular business being at the east end of the commercial building from the DuPont Street driveway. And there are parking spaces immediately in front of the proposed business. although there are other parking spaces behind the building as well, but based on staff's visit during the week, it appears that most of the employees of the nearby businesses will utilize the parking spaces behind the building. The project is parked using the 1:250 square feet ratio for the lobby and the retail component of the business. The interior space for the boarding and daycare use and also the outdoor space are parked at one space for every 500 square feet. Based on this calculation, the business is required to provide 49 parking spaces. The interior of the business is divided into two portions. At the very front of the business is a lobby area with a small retail component. Behind it is an area dedicated for cat boarding, which is called cat condos, and the applicant will provide additional detail about the arrangement and coordination of this particular area. To the right of the entrance are 7 luxury suites. These suites consist of roughly 90 square feet each, and they are dedicated for dog boarding. Within the suites, there are additional standard units for dog boarding, and they are roughly 33 square feet each. The applicant also stated that pets will receive complimentary nail trimming and baiting service at the conclusion of their overnight stay, if the customer chooses to. There are 2 separate areas for daycare for dogs, as the smaller dogs are separated from the larger dogs, but both areas will have direct access to the outdoor play area. The outdoor play area will be fenced off by a vinyl fence. However, this area will be covered by a ficus hedge, and the intent is to allow the hedge to grow to approximately over 10 feet tall to fully cover the vinyl material and also provide a green screen from the exterior. The outdoor play area will be covered by artificial turf material for maintenance purposes. And this area will be utilized between the hour of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The applicant stated that the intent will be to bring out pets of approximately 40 to 60 pets at a time to the outdoor play area. And I should say that the indoor area is fully air conditioned and it will be fully enclosed for the exception that when pets will be brought out to the outdoor play area, the door will be open from time to time. On the screen is the proposed elevation of the building. The building height will remain at its existing 50 feet tall. The applicant will be providing signage above the building. And the vinyl fencing material will be enclosing the outdoor play area, extending into the current open space area. Provided here for your reference is a picture of the proposed ficus hedge and the vinyl fencing material. The site will have additional landscaping material to buffer and separate the outdoor play area from the sidewalk. And additionally, the applicant will relocate 2 palm trees closer to the outdoor play area, just as an accent. Staff at this time is recommending that the commission finds the project exempt from CEQA. Recommend approval of the specific plan amendment 2022-0007 to the City Council based on the finding contained in the staff report and adopt resolution number 2607 granting conditional use permit CUP 2022-006 based on the finding contained in the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Choi. I appreciate that. Before we open up public hearing, Vice Chair Sherman, do you have any questions for staff?
Not at this time.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Meza? Okay. All right, I do have a few questions. I was wondering, under the conditions of approval, Ms. Choi, if there were any plans that were submitted regarding some type of a, in the report, it states that there's a capacity of up to 200 pets, maybe at one time. Was there any type of evacuation plan if there was an emergency on site? Did the applicant submit one?
Not at this time, however, the project is subject to plan check by the fire department for emergency egress as well. That will be a consideration by the fire department and our building plan check division.
Great, thank you. Okay, my other questions you already addressed as far as the applicant talking about describing the cat condo. And as far as the buffering of the wall, I'll also wait for the applicant. So thank you, Ms. Choi. Appreciate that. I do have a card from Mr. Ramirez, and if you'd like to come up, I'll open up public hearing. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So thank you. I appreciate your time. My name's John Ramirez, and I'm representing Smart Park as the applicant for this project. So in-house, we have Derek Troya. He's one of our project managers for this project. And then online, we have the property owner, the business owner, the architect, and then one of our other planners, land use entitlement consultants. So we're available for any questions you have. Just to touch a little bit about Smart Park, we have our first location in Laguna Woods, and we opened, I think it was towards the end of 2019. And it's been very successful and well received. And it's very close to the same size and scale as what we're proposing here in Corona. And so we're excited to be able to go into this new location. We have a few answers for some of the questions related to the site. For the cat facility, we call them cat condos. The plan is to only have about 8. I have all kinds of cat stuff, so you can have a cat pack, which is like a backpack, but you put a cat in it, or a catio, which is a cat patio. So I have a ton of them, but I'll spare you. I'll spare you that. So for the cat condos, we can house up to 20, but really the demand is really like 6 to 8 at any one time, and then they're housed individually, so they don't share any. Like if they're in one of their containers, they're not sharing with another cat, so they're by themselves. So the demand is more for the dogs as opposed to the cats. That's why you notice there's quite a difference in terms of the facilities provided for the dogs. Related to sound attenuation, we actually provide sound attenuation on all the interior walls for the site. A lot of it has to do with the noise generated within the facility. So when you have, once the dogs are socialized, they're typically a little more quiet, but when they're getting adjusted, they may not be, and so having the sound attenuation helps actually within the facility. So, but that's a barrier that serves as insulation from the adjacent uses in the outside. So that's already part of the plan and part of what we're going to do. Lastly, we've reviewed all the conditions of approval. We've been working with staff, with Jay and Eva, and we've had a great experience. They've been very supportive and helpful as we've maneuvered through this process. And we've reviewed the conditions of approval, and we agree with them. We don't have any comments or changes on those. So, and then I'm available, and the rest of our team's available if you have any other questions. But thank you.
Thank you for bringing in a full staff and all the resources. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I'm curious to know why Corona.
So one of the goals for Smart Park, so we moved into Laguna Woods area because there is a lot of growth happening down there. We know that there's a lot of growth happening out here in the Inland Empire, and we serve a fairly broad area, so this will likely support Corona and then also parts of Riverside and the surrounding area, especially as you move along the 15. There's a lot of homes, and we're seeing a lifestyle change where folks are not everybody's telecommuting, so there's still a need for being able to have your pet go to a daycare, or when you're traveling, having the pet be in a place that is has a high level of service and a high level of customization in the interaction. And so we're seeing that demand in this area, and with the freeway visibility and the tenant space being large enough to accommodate what we need, it turned out to be a perfect fit. So really, we're very happy to be able to come into the community, and hopefully, if either of you have pets, you guys have pets, you could check it out. We do. We have themed rooms, we have webcams, we'll do birthday parties. And then if they stay overnight, they do get cleaned up if you want, brushed and groomed a little and trimmed so that they're nice and happy when you pick them up and take them home. So.
I had a question regarding your Lake Forest facility. Is what you put in the letter and the operations that was included in our staff report, is that comparable to the volume that you're expecting at Corona?
Yes. Yes, and normally, to get to that level, it's very unusual. You might see that over, 1 or 2 weekends a year with holidays. It's sort of like air travel, right? Like Thanksgiving, super busy. Maybe around Christmas is super busy. Most of the year, we don't hit that peak, but we do have that. So the way the land use process is, you always want to plan for the peak. And so we just want to make sure that our facilities and that the requirements that we have from the city, acknowledge those peak times.
I have some other question, Mr. Ramirez, but let our vice chair chime in here.
Sure.
Ms. Sherman?
Yeah, I do have a question regarding the outdoor space. Since you're sharing a business park with other businesses, what kind of plan is in place to mitigate the smells associated with the artificial turf area?
So, Vice Chair, we have a very regimented cleaning plan that we've implemented in our first facility in Laguna Woods. And so part of it is regular cleaning. So we do a regular cleaning throughout the day for the entire facility, but we also the staff is always out there, so the animals and the pets aren't out in the outdoor area by themselves. So staff is there, so when there is an event, whether it's solid or not, the staff cleans it up right away and takes care of it and does some spot cleaning, and then later on at the end of the day, there's an overall cleaning of the entire facility. So we look at non-porous surfaces for the most part. So we have potential for a fountain, and we have shade structures, but all of the surfaces, we really focus on trying to keep it clean and have them be easily cleanable where they don't absorb a lot. And so, even with the substructure of the artificial turf, we look at it the same way.
I could add a little if you want, John.
Sure. This is Josh Drake. He's the business owner. Go ahead, Josh.
Hi. Yeah, I one of our I think if you went on our website for Laguna Woods and went through the comments, you'd find just person after person commenting on how clean and how it smells great and all those things. But with regard in particular to the outdoor area, beyond all the cleaning, we have a sprinkler system in Laguna Woods, and we're doing the same thing here. And inside the sprinkler system, you basically add a little bit of, there's an enzyme that is sprinkled out, or the system hits it twice at night on top of all the regular cleaning, and the enzyme gets dispersed onto the artificial turf. And it's amazing how clean the artificial turf smells. It just doesn't smell. So I think from a standpoint of the smell, one of our big concerns in Laguna Woods was finding a system that, was the kind of system that would work in a way that we could take clients out there at any time and, not be concerned or, embarrassed by the smell of it. And it's right next to a Home Depot in Laguna Woods. So, but anyway, I think we figured it out. It works well.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Ms. Sherman, any other questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Meza?
I'm wondering if this is modeled out of a certain chain, or how did this come to life? Is it local?
Yeah, I could actually, if you wanted to take that and give a little bit of
Sure.
history.
Yeah. So I spent I don't know if any of you are familiar with a company by the name of VCA, but they own a lot of animal hospitals across the country. So I spent 25 years at VCA, and it basically was a roll-up company for animal hospitals that then would be branded under VCA. And during that time, we occasionally, when we bought an animal hospital, they kind of made us buy the boarding facility that the veterinarian owned as well. So we came into contact with boarding facilities through my tenure at VCA. And I have dogs. I don't know if you guys have dogs, but I was always frustrated over, my time in California about not having any place that I felt was a quality place to bring my pets. And so we would drive like 40 miles and drop our dogs off at one of the VCA facilities that we did have, and it happened to be good ones. And so when I exited VCA after we got purchased by Mars, it's a candy company. They have more revenue and profit in pet products and services than they do in candy, which I did not know until they bought us, but it's a little known fact. I always wanted to get into this piece of business because I felt there was a need. There's just so many places around the country where there just isn't a fantastic place to bring your pets, and where there's a need, if someone comes to the market and provides an outsized experience that and does it at market pricing, which is what we intend to do, I think there's an opportunity to not only have provide something that's needed in the community, but also have a successful business. So it's local now. It's a small business now because our first store is Laguna Woods, but we're adding 2 more because Laguna Woods has been open 2 years and has outperformed our best expectations. And should the next 2 work, then we will start raising money and expanding the brand and hopefully bringing this kind of experience to communities around the nation.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I was going to ask, can you address my previous question regarding whether it's Lake Forest or whether it's the Corona, about an evacuation for so many animals if there was an emergency?
So generally, we do rely on building and fire code. So for the exiting plan, it's based it's based on path of travel and exiting doors, which we have. And we have that in place, and then usually the facilities are sprinklered to provide extra protection. Josh, I don't know if you've come across this in Laguna Woods for a specific evacuation plan or.
Yeah, we worked with, so it's actually Laguna Beach that is who Laguna Woods contracts out with for animal related services, kind of like inspection of all animal. And it's actually kind of through their police department, the way it's done. So we submitted our plan to them for Laguna Woods. And so we will dust off that plan. I'm sure it'll be essentially the same as it is in Corona as it is in Laguna Woods, but until we connect with whoever the right body is at Corona to review it and approve it, I won't know for sure. But we have one in place. It involves, number of or the ability to transport vehicle-wise, and having enough not what do you call them, these kennels, not we have only rooms in Laguna Woods, but we have extra travel kennels for the exit plan, so we can get the dogs out. And so it was Laguna Beach that we went through the plan with for Laguna Woods, and they're the ones that approved that plan. And so that's what we would be carrying forward to Corona to start the process with whomever the right agency is.
All right, because as you can understand, looking at Exhibit 4, you have a lobby, and with your information as your staffing, if something was occur where you only have 2, and if you were to have 60 or 80 pets there, and for the immediate evacuation, I mean, how would you just logistically take care of 60 or 80 pets with 2 staff members in the middle of the night type thing?
Yeah, I think obviously in the middle of the night, it would be a little bit unique in regards to the process as opposed to the day. But I just can't recall off the top of my head all the details of the plan. But we're happy to provide it to you guys post the meeting if you'd like to review it. But I know all those things were part of the process we went through with Laguna Beach, because that's what they cared about. The exact same thing. Got size of facility, got X number of dogs. In an emergency, how do we plan on reasonably efficiently and safely exiting the dogs off site to a safe location?
I appreciate it being given consideration.
Yeah.
Then. Not with us today
Yeah, it's important.
necessarily.
But it's important. We agree.
My question regarding the condition of approval, as far as the ficus, can you address 6-foot barrier? So they're going to be pretty decent mature to cover the vinyl fencing, correct? So to put in immediately 6-foot ficus, they're going to have to be pretty close to have some gauge of cover, correct? Or could you address that?
Yes, the goal would be to completely screen the vinyl fencing, because we know this is a unique request. And the idea is to maintain the expectation of the visual appeal in the area for the specific plan. So we're planning for it, we're prepared for it, and we've been working with staff to make sure that we have that layered landscaping in sort of right out of the gate for the planting, so that it's mature and it covers really quickly. So
the other question I have is, so you have artificial turf, you have immediate cleanup, and then you have daily cleanups for the entire outdoor space. And in the staff report, it talked about, or in the letter, I'm not sure which one, about the whatever is going to be fine-tuned with the runoff as far as not going into the immediate area, but perhaps the sewer. So with that guttering per se, I understand that will answer most of the questions if that's the option you move forward with, or so the rain doesn't get into that sewer system, a complete cover replacing the sails for shade. Is that correct?
correct. We would work that out with staff as we get to that level, whether or not we're, like in Laguna Woods, we are connected to the sanitary sewer. So it's just different agencies have different requirements or preferences, so we'll work with the engineering staff and we'll pivot as we need to. We have some flexibility, but.
Okay. And as far as the noise for the tenant next door, Dunn Edward, when I spoke to the gentleman, he's very happy that you guys are coming on board versus a vacant suite next door to him. But as far as an extremely quiet business operation on their end, and then to have this multitude of noise on the other side, can you address that, or how can you alleviate his concerns?
Well, one of the things we're doing is we are including sound attenuation for that interior wall that we share with the Dunn Edwards.
For the full 90-foot length that you share with, okay.
Yes. And then we also, within the facilities, we have, if you look at the floor plan, we have different column wings or they're themed areas. And so those have another level of sound attenuation within the space. So we really work towards being a good neighbor. Our other facility, like Josh said, it's in a commercial center, has a Home Depot, it has several restaurants. We're kind of we've been there without incident, and we have residential nearby that one as well. And there hasn't been any concerns. We really try to take care to manage the pets that we're overseeing. And generally, once they get, they come in and they get socialized and they get accustomed to staff, they don't bark. They don't bark that much. And even when we take them out, we socialize them on our interior area before they go outside, so that then there's not a lot of, call it territorial conflict. So they're not as noisy as you might think.
Just part of that.
I would add a little if you want.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking from experience on Laguna Woods, where again it's similar size. We've had 230 dogs there, and you would be sitting in our lobby and you wouldn't hear a thing. We over-engineer this thing for sound. Home Depot has never, I don't think they've ever heard it. We share a wall with Home Depot. They've never heard us. The only place where you might hear a dog is in the outdoor area. That's typically during transition in and out. And once they're out there, they typically chill out, just like a dog park is not as loud as you would think it would be. Once the dogs are in and they're out, they just, but the transition in and out, there'll be some barking. And possibly, I guess, a dog coming in is silly, but it is, we get comments from not only our neighbors, but people walking into the facility, the people in the lobby. We've built these things so that it's a quiet, clean experience. It's part of delivering something different. We care very much about that. I don't think Dunn Edwards is going to have any problems with us at all.
I was wondering if maybe you could reach out to the manager and share that information with him as part of your process.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. No problem.
And I can speak to that as the property owner. This is Jack Ventimiglia speaking. We have specific clauses within our leases that protect our tenants and allow them to have what we call quiet enjoyment. So the sound attenuation is part of our plan check process as the property owner to make sure we're covering a certain level of decibel so tenants aren't being disturbed adjacent to their spaces.
Thank you. Vice Chair, do you have any more comments for the applicant?
I do not.
All right, Ms. Meza. Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't have anything else. Ms. Capilla, do we have any other speaker cards?
No, we do not.
Thank you. All right, with that, I'll go ahead and close public hearing. And we'll bring it back to the commission. I just wanted to say I drove out there, and this couldn't have been a better spot for this. business. I have no concerns with the outdoor. It's completely on the cul-de-sac. It's open. No one's close to it. The outdoor play area should be, it's a great area to finish it up, that corner and the grass there. Would like to see either complete patio or a good shading like you showed versus the applicant's letter with very little shading. So I would lean towards lots of shade with the heat that we have 9 months out of the year for the animals. I think it works well as far as that suite and its location. And I don't want to put negativity on Dunn Edward. They were very happy that you guys were going to be moving in. In fact, he even said, we'll just turn up music in our store if that becomes a problem. With that, I'll go ahead and take a motion.
I make a motion.
second.
I'll make a motion to approve CUP 2022-0006.
All right, Ms. Meza with the motion and a second. We heard you, Vice Chair, with your...
I'm sorry, if we could do the specific
sorry.
plan amendment first?
The specific plan amendment, okay.
Hold on, Ms. Sherman. We've got to read the right one here.
I make a motion to approve SPA 2022-007, the specific plan amendment.
All right, we have a motion. Ms. Sherman?
And I will second.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Appreciate that. Please vote.
Vice Chair Sherman, can I confirm your vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that passes 3-0. The next public hearing item is for related, and it's CUP 2022-006, conditional use permit application to establish a pet boarding and pet daycare facility at 284 DuPont Street, Suites 180, 190 in the Northeast Corona Specific Plan SP 81-2, support commercial freeway SCF district, and to enclose a proposed outdoor pet area, play area with a vinyl fence. Applicant MLJ Resources LLC on behalf of Smart Park Luxury Suite and Pet Daycare. Ms. Choi, we've already done the presentation, correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Thank you. All right, so public hearing is now open. Do any of the commissioners have additional questions for staff? Vice Chair Sherman?
I do not.
Thank you. Ms. Meza? I also do not. So we'll go ahead and see if we have any public cards or comments. I see one coming down. Thank you.
Well, I was going to ask if they could possibly have some hummus like the grocery store used to. They had really good hummus. They had like a cafeteria in there before. Honestly, I think this will be great over there. I mean, this will be really nice with the outdoor area and have a nice pet boarding. Some of our neighbors, when they board, they take their animals all the way to Orange County just to have them boarded because there aren't really any places around here that you really kind of want to leave your animals for a few days. So it'll be really nice to see them. It'll be nice to have it open again. It's been vacant for a while. So the place is sort of having a rough time with the McKinley grade separation and all that stuff too. So hopefully they can make it through then. And by the time all the dust settles literally over there, that they'll be plenty successful. So it'll be nice to see them. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, with that, any other cards? Ms. Capilla, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the dais. Any comments from the commissioners? Vice Chair?
None from me. No, I am good. Thank you.
Ms. Meza? All right. Well, I do not either. I welcome the project. I think it's a good location. It's a good fit for the neighborhood, and appreciate you investing in our city. We'll go ahead and entertain a motion for CUP 2022-006.
I recommend moving conditional use permit 2022-0006.
Thank you, Ms. Meza. And a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Sherman. Appreciate that. Please vote.
Vice Chair Sherman, how would you like to vote?
I vote yes.
Thank you.
All right, that passes 3-0, so thank you very much. Appreciate it. Written communications. Has the Planning and Housing Commission Secretary received any written communication from persons providing information or seeking action by the Planning and Housing Commission?
No, we have not.
Thank you. Administrative reports, Ms. Coletta? None. Planning and Housing Commissioner reports and comments. Do either Ms. Sherman or Ms. Meza have comments? Nothing to report. Vice Chair?
Nothing.
Thank you. I did just want to mention that this last Friday night, my husband and I were dining at the Crossings, and as we were leaving, we were driving out to Tom Barnes, and we pulled at the light at Temescal Canyon, and we're waiting, and a semi-truck pulled up, and fully expecting with past latitude project that came before us, I expected it to turn south to Cajalco to go to the freeway, but instead turn left with us going north and to El Cerrito and then over to the I-15 freeway. I had a conversation with Rexco talking about my concerns and knowing that the leasees over there at Latitude and all the trucks and the docks condition of leases for the traffic to go southbound towards Cajalco. And he assured me that that was in place and that he did note that there were a lot of deliveries to the hotel and during their construction, perhaps they might need an advisement as far as traffic for the semis. And I was wondering how that gets addressed, Ms. Coletta.
We can reach out to the applicant, but I don't believe that we had a temporary situation on the hotel. It was conditioned on the Latitude Business Park from an ongoing operational standpoint. So trucks are not prohibited from going northbound. I think it was the long-term operations of Latitude Business Park that the commission had concerns with. So if it's construction traffic, it's temporary in nature, and that would be allowed to continue.
Got it. Okay, I appreciate that. All right. Well, with that, we have no other matters. I would like to make note future agenda items. March 20th is our next meeting. And a continued item is CUP 2021-004, a conditional use permit application to allow a drive-through and walk-up coffee shop Starbucks within an existing commercial center located at the southeast corner of Green River Road and Dominguez Ranch Road, and that's in the neighborhood commercial district of Sierra del Oro specific plan. Applicant being Jessica Steiner of Bickle Group Architecture. Also, a CUP 2022-005, a conditional use permit application to allow for a nonprofit organization, ABC Hopes, to conduct recreational, social, and educational programs for persons with disabilities in the M-2/0 or O rather, general manufacturing oil combining zone, and that's located at 1831 Commerce Street, Suite 103. Applicant Katie Moore of ABC Hopes, Inc. So those will be coming forward to us next meeting. And with that, I'll adjourn to our next meeting, March 20th at 6 p.m. Thank you all very much.
Goodbye.